going on, guys? This is Mark from Solar Games. I don't know if you saw the news, but it's kind of interesting that Hasbro is going to do a kind of conference, investor call type of thing to address Magic the Gathering specifically on Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. This is pretty big, actually. So I think a couple weeks back when 30th dropped, when all this other shenanigans dropped, when Bank of America basically took a dump on Wizards, I was surprised, of course, just like everyone else was, that they were not willing to do anything, talk, say anything publicly. But it seems like probably that pressure's really gotten to them, especially because now they don't really have any positive things to say. After the sales or the failed sales of 30th anniversary, seems like they're pretty desperate and their investors are giving them a lot of pressures. So they're going to publicly do a kind of like open forum and answer questions specifically about Magic the Gathering. And this is really key. So look, for Wizards to go fix themselves and for Hasbro to go fix themselves, there's going to be a couple key steps they're going to have to take to get there. The first key step, obviously, is, like I said before, admitting mistake. From the looks of things, though, it does look like at least they realize there's problems that they have to go solve. And that's a good thing, right? Because otherwise, if they still think, well, I guess we'll find out, right? Maybe they come on this conference and say, hey, we never did anything wrong. Everything with Magic is fine. You guys need to chill. We'll make you money, right? If they kind of take that position, that would be a problem. But I don't think they're that dumb. And if you remember what I told you about before, large companies like Hasbro, they don't just kind of keep sailing and sink. It takes them a long time to turn the ship around, but they do know how to turn the ship around eventually before they sink. And this is one of the things that you have to just understand. The survival of a company, they're not really doing it for you, but they're doing it to survive. If it means that surviving is by, helping the players, making everyone happy, they're going to do that, right? If it's not in the interest of doing that, let's say, for example, they make more money, everyone's happy, investors are happy. If they screw the players, screw everyone else, that's also fine. But the ultimate thing they're going to do is ensure their own survival and ensure that their shareholders are profitable or profiting. But the reality is they're not profiting. And that's why they're doing this conference call. Call it active desperation, call it whatever you want to call it. But the fact that they're able to come to the table, have a conversation, answer questions from the investors who probably don't have a lot of positive things to say to them, that's going to be a good thing for sure. Now let's talk a little bit about what they're going to talk about. So since this thing is addressing Magic Gathering directly, I guarantee you someone's going to ask about the 30th anniversary, and very likely we're going to get some inkling of print runs or, again, here's the thing. I know out there everyone's using the 2300 number, and like I said on my last video on this topic, I told you it's a rumor. So it may be true, it may not be true, but by and large, it looks like from the secondary market, that's probably correct. Now, I would have expected more sales, more resales on the secondary market if they actually sold 2,300 copies or something like that. So I think it's actually less than that even, which leads me to think that there's really two unanswered questions. How many did you actually sell? We know you didn't sell out, so how many did you actually sell? Number two is how many did you print? And I don't mean print for sell, and this is very key. A lot of people missed this point when I was making in the last video. It's not how many they printed to sell for the event, but more importantly, how many did they print total? Because what they printed total affects the market. And you know how this worked with mystery boosters. They print these kind of infinitely, and they keep giving them out at the convention, right? And so if there's more coming into market because they've reserved a ton for, again, price support, maybe for like players, for whatever purpose, then there will be more out in the market. So that's the thing to think about. Of course, they're going to have to answer questions on 30th. They can't avoid it. It's out there, right? Everyone's going to ask questions. That's a big topic. The other thing I think that they're going to have to answer questions on is their treatment of LGS. Because look, here's the thing. Investors don't give a shit what you do with LGS. They don't, right? And I don't mean like investors like the Magic investors. I mean the investors who invest in their stock, Hasbro stock, right? Shareholders. They don't care. But they do care if it basically screws with their bottom line. If the way that they treat LGSs causes their stock to sink, they will care. That's all. So they're going to have to ask, what are you doing about your distributors? That model, are you shifting from it, and why? If you're shifting from it, show us the numbers, show us better. Show us that it's a better model, and the shareholders want to hear that part for sure. And the last part is the player resentment. Look, no matter how you put it, Hasbro is making a game that they're selling to players. If the players are resenting and rejecting their product, that's going to be a big problem for their bottom line. And so they have to address how they plan on turning that around. Now, here's the key. There's many ways, of course, they can go down this path. And of course, they're going to say things that are more appeasing for the shareholders than they would for the players. But given that those two worlds are starting to merge, or maybe have merged already, given that Bank of America article, it may be possible that they have to address it from the perspective of just a player, not necessarily a shareholder. Meaning, how do I make this game more likable, reasonable, fun to play, and make players not hate me so much? Rather than just saying, how much money can I make you, shareholders, by printing more sets, printing more cards? Because the print more things may not actually be an answer that the shareholders want to hear right now. Right? Again, this is the thing. You have to understand Wall Street is a very fluid animal, just like probably how the player base is. But here's the problem. Wall Street usually is more fluid than the player base. Right now, Wall Street cares about profitability, right? It's all about profitability. I don't care about growth. So if they're going out there saying, hey, we can grow more audience, whatever, Wall Street's going to basically hear that and tank their stock. But if they're talking about how we're going to bring the players back, how we're basically going to profit, right? Again, the growth is okay if it's profitable. Growth is not okay right now if you're going to have to lose money for it. So all they have to do is basically come out and say, hey, here's how we're going to make the game better. Here's how we're going to make the players not hate us so much. Bring back the players, which brings back the revenue, which brings back profitability. So again, the conference is going to be Thursday at 8 a.m. If you go to the Hasbro's website under Investor Relations, there's going to be a link for it. I think, if not, I will link the Reddit post, or I'll just link you the original article, which you can, again, watch. It's open to public. You don't have to be a shareholder to partake in this thing. I will be there. I will be watching it, and I'll probably be just taking some notes. I think I will try to record during the live stream. I don't know if I can do a live thing, like a premiere or whatever type of thing during the event. I'm just not really set up for that right now. But yeah, anyways, that's what I have to say. I highly recommend everybody who's interested in this whole thing, go listen. And this is the key. Stop listening to me. Stop listening to all these people who are giving you rumor mill stuff, especially when you have the company in front of everyone telling everyone what's going on. Now, I know you're going to say, hey, I don't believe them. I don't trust them. They're bastards. They're liars, whatever. Yes, I get it. Everyone's angry. Everyone's, whatever. But it's times like this that you have to calm down, understand the facts, and then make decisions for yourself. Stop being led astray by everybody out there. Look, here's the thing. I'm saying things from my own personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But the thing is, when a chance like this happens, where you can hear from Chris Cox and their CEOs, whatever, and here's the thing: don't listen to just his words. Listen to his tone. Listen to how he's presenting. You can hear confidence. You can see confidence. I hope it's like a video too, by the way, so I can see him talk and read his body language. That would be important too. And honestly, if you don't care, who cares? Just keep waiting. I mean, I don't think Magic's going to stop making sets. You have Mark Rosewater and the R&D guys, they're already planned out 2 years ahead. So worst case scenario, if Magic dies, you'll still probably have around 2 years worth of products before they really truly go out of business. So who cares, right? And at this point, I don't really care. I mean, if Magic gets sold to another company, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Maybe it gives them a nice fresh restart. Plus, we have other games too, right? Flesh and Blood and whatever. So go check those out too. All right, that's it. That's going to be it for me. Expect a video on Thursday, sometime after the conference, my take on what they said. And yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.